The General Motors Proving Ground is a busy place. Automobiles, trucks, buses, even military vehicles, put through extensive and grueling engineering evaluations day and night, week after week, month after month, on all types of test roads, and in a wide variety of laboratories to make certain they perform the way they were designed to perform. At the General Motors Proving Grounds, the emphasis is on testing passenger cars and trucks and their components for the scientists and engineers at General Motors to be sure they are adequate to meet the needs and expectations of car and truck customers, and also to be sure they will meet the requirements society has set for the environment that surrounds us. A primary objective is to verify the adequacy of the vehicle designs and the 15,000 parts of a modern motor vehicle, working together properly under the widest possible variety of conditions. The first automotive proving ground in the world was built by General Motors in 1924 at Milford, Michigan, near Detroit. Vehicles were simpler then, and so was the testing. Today, testing is extremely complex because vehicles have become so complex and because the customer demands transportation that is dependable, economical, and comfortable, as well as safe and environmentally acceptable. Meeting these demands has required dramatic changes in automobile designs. One of the most dramatic recent trends in auto design has been the change to smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles with front-wheel drive, advanced electronic monitoring and control systems. Changes like these must be evaluated promptly and effectively on prototype cars before the vehicles are approved for manufacturing. And the changes must also be monitored on production cars to be sure they are performing as designed. The Proving Ground at Milford is the chief General Motors installation in an elaborate engineering test and evaluation network that extends around the world. At Milford, there are more than 123 lane miles of carefully designed test roads, supported by highly sophisticated laboratory and road test equipment and procedures that are constantly extending the state of the art. Much of the test equipment is so specialized that it has had to be designed, developed, and built in-house. Southeast of Mesa, Arizona, near Phoenix, engineers conduct year-round hot weather testing at the GM Desert Proving Ground. Mesa is a 4,600-acre facility with 58 miles of special test roads and dusty trails. At GM's high-altitude test facility at Denver, Colorado, the effects of high altitude on performance and emission control are measured. Not far away, at GM's mountain test facility in the Rockies, vehicles are driven up and down the long, steep grades of Pikes Peak to test engines, transmissions, brakes, steering, and other systems. Up in Kapuskasing, at GM of Canada's cold weather test facility, vehicle performance is tested at temperatures that drop to 50 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit in wintertime. Other GM proving grounds are located abroad, in Australia, Brazil, Germany, and in Great Britain. This reflects the international scope of General Motors operations. GM cars and trucks designed, manufactured, and marketed abroad undergo testing that is similar to that carried out in the United States. Worldwide, tens of millions of miles are test driven by General Motors every year. At the Milford Proving Ground, driving schedules are based on real-world driving conditions, obtained from instruments in randomly selected owners' cars, taxi fleets, and police vehicles nationwide. The data are analyzed by computers, making it possible to devise test schedules that compress up to 100,000 miles of equivalent driving experience into a few months. Thus, a vehicle's long-term susceptibility to wear can be quickly evaluated, reported to engineers, and necessary changes made before release for production. While a major aim of proving ground testing is to evaluate component and system durability, engineers conduct specific test programs that concentrate on other concerns, minimizing the effects of real-world corrosive environment on cars and trucks, reducing unpleasant structural vibrations, monitoring unpleasant noises that may be heard inside the vehicle to see if corrections can be made by changing vibration or noise transmission characteristics. There are even tests designed to help the engineers minimize the sounds generated by vehicles moving along streets and highways. Still other tests help increase tire traction and extend tire life. Some testing takes place on proving ground roadways. Others take place on dynamic laboratory equipment that simulates the effect of roadway forces and moments and permits engineers to predict a tire's handling characteristics. And others help evaluate passenger restraint systems. Some tests permit engineers to simulate accident conditions to evaluate passenger safety. Still other tests involve the actual destruction of more than 300 vehicles every year at Milford alone. The proving ground also conducts 50,000-mile exhaust emission tests on representative new model cars to be sure they meet government regulations. The high technology that is appearing more and more on new motor vehicles often requires special ultra-sophisticated test procedures. Onboard computers and electronic controls are checked to determine if they affect or are affected by the radio, TV, mobile telephone, radar, and other signals in our electromagnetic environment, or if they are affected by high magnetic fields that are encountered when driving under high-voltage transmission lines. In addition to vehicle testing, proving ground research also concentrates on better, safer roadway design. Potential roadside hazards are set far back from the edge of the road or are specially designed to reduce the possibility of accidents. For years, GM proving ground roadway designs have been incorporated in many major new highway construction projects around the world. Research also concentrates on the driver, especially in the development of advanced training in handling driving emergencies. The driver, the highway and roadside, the vehicle, all are the subject of continuing study and evaluation at the GM Proving Grounds. The busy activity goes on and on and on, with the goal of bringing even greater satisfaction to users of GM motor vehicles. of continuing to minimize the impact of GM cars and trucks on the environment, and of contributing even more to greater safety on and off the streets and highways of the nation and the world. The challenge is tough and growing even tougher. But after all, that's what the General Motors Proving Grounds are all about.